mysterious death curse washes over the land, driven by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes have been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the total monk from a distant land who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Brilinya, Aasimar warlock sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And Gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult of Personality.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain, and this is Chult of Personality, episode 38, Captive Audience. In our long-running Tomb of Annihilation campaign. I am joined, of course, tonight by Mike the Piper playing Vale Istafall, Megan playing Brilinya, Connor playing Eric, and Marquise's Forehead as Dunala. There he is. It's been a minute since we've played, but we are glad to be back with you in this campaign. You can see the scroll down below that explains how the domain devils or domain dice work. As you can see down below me, there are 5 domain devils at the parties. Ready to be used for a variety of reasons. If you're unsure exactly how those work, you can type domain dice into the chat and the explanation will appear. Domain dice are purchased for 500 bits or a $5 donation. Subscriptions, raids, and things like that will also earn the players domain dice. Just a fun little way you can become involved in the fate of the characters. One other thing that I'm going to drop in the link here, I'm doing a giveaway where I am actually giving away 3 total Game Masters bundles. If that worked, yep. The link is right there in the chat. 1 of 3 Game Masters bundles, pictured right here behind me. A D&D 5th edition starter set, a set of 6 miniatures that complement the starter set, a set of 6 dice, that's 42 total dice, complete with little velvet bags to go with them. And 1 lucky winner will get all of that, plus a Monster Manual, Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and Dungeon Master Screen Reincarnated. All you have to do is click the link to enter. The drawing will be taking place on my birthday, April 16th. With that, we are going to have a break somewhere in the middle that will have a wonderful little promotional role talking about the channel, a couple other channels, advertising some products, and that's where you can get some more information about what other shows and things are going on here at Mini-Terrain Domain. So, when we last left these characters, they had finally made their approach into the Forbidden City of Omu. Now, as I said, it's been a minute, but would anybody like to attempt to recap the last couple sessions to bring us up to speed for one of those coveted points of inspiration? Going once, going twice. I will do the recap. And 1 point of inspiration. All right. Following the ritual at Eric's home of Kirsabal, the monastery, the teacher his mother, had performed a ritual, the Dance of the Seven Winds, that sacrificed her own wings, but provided Vale and Dunala and Brilinya all with a semi-permanent set of wings. They flew for 3 days and 3 nights until they arrived in the forbidden city of Omu. They were beset upon by gargoyles and a giant roc, a massive bird, that they made quick work of, and then they descended into the city proper, just as their wings vanished. They discovered a compound in which numerous humans had been slaughtered. There were some dead Yuan-ti and a Yuan-ti burial pyre that was discovered as well. Within the rubble, they also discovered Orvix Okramus, an elderly human man who had been a well-known scribe and assistant to the Weeping Friars, the organization that Brilinya belongs to. And that is how they found out, not for the first time, that the Weeping Friars were in Chult, but that they were actively seeking out the Soulmonger. And it was actually several members of the Weeping Friars that were among those, and their assistants, and hired people that were found dead within this compound. They spent a night to recover, to heal up, wound up battling a shambling mound that had wandered its way into the camp. In an attempt to seek out the first of these tombs, well, actually, in that their restful night, Orvix Okramus, actually revealed the legend of the 9 gods to the players. And they learned that there are keys that must be found at each of these shrines to the 9 gods, one of which is just a few hundred feet away, and they began heading out towards this shrine, when out of nowhere crossbow bolts began to shoot past them. They realized that 4 mercenaries serving the Weeping Friars were taking shots at them. Brilinya was hit in the shoulder. Brother Matthias, the violet-skinned tiefling and leader of the Weeping Friars, with his 2 Asimir companions, appeared. Brilinya found herself being captured by vines, spread, her arms and legs holding her in place. Dunala tried to help her by transforming her into a dove, but the dove stayed wrapped in the vines. And with a clinking sound, Matthias tossed what appeared to be a diamond across the stone ground to land at Brilinya's feet, where she was absorbed into the gem, barely visible in the facets. Using some form of telekinesis, one of the Asimir drew the gem to himself, and the 3 figures vanished from sight. And that is where we ended the last session. Eric is flying up above, having kept watch and only just seeing the 4 soldiers, the 4 mercenaries, as they began to take their shots. Dunala and Vale are down on the ground, and we're going to take a quick look here. That is not the map. That is from an entirely different game. Let's try. There we go.
That was a badass map. I mean, I'm just going to throw that out there. That was a really cool map.
That was from the last time we played this 2 weeks ago. We did a side quest adventure with the similar characters. Unfortunately, in this alternate reality, Mike, Vale Istafall had died.
I'm cool with that. That's okay.
But I'm actually behind. That one will be posted up online this week. I'm working on getting caught up. In the meantime, this vertical line of stone, this stone boulevard that runs through, there's the compound off to the left is where you all stayed, and you were heading towards the shrine that sort of has a appearance like a circle with a slot in it. It almost looks like a 1-up coin, or a coin from Mario. you're on this boulevard. Mateus and the ASMR appeared towards the southern edge of it. The veterans are on the northern edge of it. Or mercenaries, not veterans. The mercenaries are on the northern edge of it. And that is the scene as we jump back in at the exact moment that Mateus, Brother Mateus, and the ASMR have vanished. Vale, Istafall, you are first up in the initiative order. What would you like to do? Just to give you a sense of how far they are, I will let you know in a moment. The 4 mercenaries are... There we go. The 4 mercenaries are about 60 feet ahead of you, away from you, to the north on that stone boulevard.
Okay. I'm going to pull out my short bow and I'm going to grab one of them, one of them +1 arrows from the quiver of +1 arrows that I've got. I don't think I didn't forget about that. Way back when. way back when. And yeah, I'm gonna take aim at one of these mercs and I'm gonna shoot. And that will be a 9, so that'd be a dirty 20 to hit.
That will absolutely hit.
Okay. And ooh, that's all right. So that'd be 11 points of piercing damage.
You see your arrow find its mark as one of these mercenaries is actually, as all of them are finishing up or reloading their crossbows. Anything else?
I think no. I think I'd probably actually. I think maybe I will hop down onto the other side of the wall, so I'm not on a wall being an obvious target. So
Left or right?
Just probably left.
Okay.
Well, on the other side of the wall, so I can easily see them.
Yeah, this just as a reminder, this boulevard is maybe 5 feet high. It's not like you're walking along the top of a wall. So if you drop down, you'll still be able to get a good line of sight on them.
Okay, yeah, then I'll definitely do that.
Yeah, there's a little bit of very low shrubs and bushes and stuff. So you can still see them, but you can also take cover behind the wall as necessary as well.
Okay, then you know what? I'll take cover. I'll zip down, take cover against the wall.
All right.
Would that be just for record? Like, what would that be? Would that be 3/4 cover or full cover?
I'm gonna call it 3/4 cover. As
right, so I'll just make sure to add 4 to my AC.
Yep.
For okay.
Unless they maneuver themselves in a position where they can still get a better shot at you, which one of them is absolutely going to attempt to do. As one of them leaps down off the wall, I'm going to say for this shot you have half cover, because he's jumping down so that he's on the same side of the wall as you, but there's still some shrubs and bushes, which I believe is a +2 to your AC.
Yeah, so he's got to beat a 20.
Yep. So he's going to take his shot as he drops down, and that is going to be a grand total of 6. As the crossbow bolt, you hear it kind of, you see the disturbance as leaves kind of fly up into the air, but it hits a branch, and you hear it kind of ricochet off of the wall and just sort of clatter into the shrubbery. one of them is going to take a shot at Dunala, and shoots wide. You don't even hear the crossbow bolt fly past you. The other two are going to take their shots at Eric up in the air. One of them, you hear, let's see, that's an 11. So you hear that as the crossbow bolts shoots near you. But the other one is a 22 to hit at Eric.
That'll do. That'll do.
So as that crossbow bolt strikes you, you are going to take 5. Nope, you're going to take 3 piercing damage. As it just sort of, no pun intended, wings you. And it is that is their turn. Which now brings us to you, Eric.
All right. Well, would I have heard any kind of commotion coming from Brilinya at the happening stance of her?
What do you mean?
Like, would I have been able to have heard and noticed all that going on?
You saw everything happen. It all happened pretty quickly, but I would like you,
because
I would like you to make a perception check.
All right. That's going to be a 26.
You can hear, jump back to the map screen here. You hear somewhere off to your right of the boulevard, in amongst that block of shrubbery and stuff that's near that first temple you were heading towards, that first shrine, you see some movement. You see a flash of white, and you can tell that there's some movement over there.
Eric will descend, approaching the spot where Brilinya once was, eyeing this. So are her captors visible?
No, they all vanished. They magically disappeared. And that would be directly below you at the bottom of that boulevard. So it's like 100, 150 feet away that you saw this movement.
Yeah, so he would descend to the spot where Brilinya once was.
Okay.
And do a sweeping motion to like figure out if there's any tracks going anywhere. While also noticing this movement, he's going to further investigate as he flies over it as well. I have 50 feet of fly speed here, so.
All right, so you can descend, investigate where Brilinya was, and move toward where you saw the movement. So give me an investigation check.
Yeah, and I can bonus action dash as a rogue, so gives me lots of movement. That's a nat 20 for investigation, 27.
Well, you can clearly see a little bit of disturbance at the bottom of the steps of this boulevard, where it appears that they moved into position, and where their footsteps all end in the disturbance of the debris on the boulevard. There's no way to track somebody that vanished magically from a spot, so you see nothing else other than that. And then you're going to bonus action dash.
Yeah, taking up to the air again, doing that flyby overhead of that glimmer in the bushes.
All right, so what I want from you then is another perception check.
All right. Dice are on fire tonight. That's a 26.
You catch in the midst of the that little copse of trees, you can see 2 figures. You see a flash of blonde hair and a flash of white and red vestments, just like the Brother Mateus and the Asimir were wearing.
I'll circle above them. I have my bow and drawn. Unhand her!
All right, that's going to take us to Brilinya. Brilinya, you awaken in a familiar stone cell. A wooden door banded with iron, is closed. A simple wooden table is next to you. On it is a bowl of the plain broth stew that was a common bare minimum meal when somebody was serving some sort of penance or punishment at the monastery. You recognize this as the room that you spent so much time growing up in learning the ways of the Weeping Friars. You see that you are still wearing what you had been wearing when you were taken. You no longer, and haven't had for quite some time, your ribbons that covered the scars on your arms. There is the sound of a door unlocking. You hear that heavy metallic click, and then the door opens. Standing in the doorway, Brother Matthias, in his startlingly clean vestments, in stark contrast to his violet skin. Brilinya, it has been days. You still refuse to eat.
Where are they? What have you done with them?
You still worry about these people. Mean nothing. The grand scheme of everything. When it is only yourself, the friars, that we should be worried about.
No, you're wrong. They're important. They mean something. They are going to save Chult. They're going to save everyone. They're important to me.
You still believe that you and those 3 other individuals matter? Curious. He steps into the room, walking over to the table where your cold broth sits. He takes the bowl. He places another bowl. You can see this one is steaming. You must eat, Brilinya, or you will never regain your strength. I brought you something else. And he sets down a bundle that had been tucked under his arm on the bed next to you. I will be back again tomorrow. He leaves the room, closing the door, locking it behind you.
Brilinya gets up, and after a while, after she is sure that he has walked away, she's going to slowly get up and go over to this bundle and have a look at it.
It's a simple white cloth tied with a red ribbon. Do you open it?
Yeah, she would, slowly, kind of holding her breath.
Inside the bundle is a full set of cleaned vestments, complete with arm ribbons. Gunella, back in the Chult jungle, What are you going to do?
So you got to paint the scene for me again. So we have these mercenaries. They're reloading in front of us? Yes? Or did they start running off? I got confused with that part.
3 of them have stayed right on the boulevard. One of them jumped down when Vale jumped down to the left.
Perfect. How many feet are they away from us?
They're currently 60 feet away from you.
Oh. Dunala is enraged. When he sees that Brill is taken regardless, despite his magic, he curses loudly, and when he turns around, his eyes, his face, his Wanti is showing in full force right now. And despite his emotions slowly returning lately, they are quickly put to the side or maybe replaced, or maybe it's just the first time he's felt anger and rage in so long. But he bares his fangs, metaphorically and physically speaking, as he throws out his left hand towards these 3 men shooting at him. I'm going to drop a fireball on top of all of them.
All right. So that's going to be... So one of them has jumped off the edge.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There we go. I'm going to roll for each one of them separately.
All right.
So that's going to be... What's the DC?
Let me look at my sheet again. I think it's 17, but it might be off. Proficiency is 3. 16? 16. 16. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, the one that jumped down I gave him advantage, and he basically, hearing the odd commotion, peers his head up to see what's going on and catches the full blast as he fails. You said it was, I'm sorry, what was it again?
16.
16, okay. One of them looks like he reacts the quickest, but he still gets caught in the blast. And one of them actually runs forward as soon as you launch this fireball at a sprint and sort of goes into a power slide, and that's how he gets out of the range. He rolled a nat 20 on his ability to dodge that. So that's how we're going to do that narratively. So you took 3 of them are taking full damage. He's going to catch half damage.
35 points of fire damage as
35?
Goes out. Yep.
So let's see. And then the one that sort of goes into a power slide, we're going to say that he is now, it also puts him much closer to all of you as he ran his full movement, but he takes 17 points of damage. Okay.
And Dunala will use his full movement to move 30. No, he'll move about 15 feet back, actually.
Okay. Okay, so let's see. What do we... Killing me. Okay, so... Okay. Eric.
C'est moi.
You need to make a... Where is it? Hold on. I'm trying to use one of the digital tools, and it's not working properly. There's an ad that keeps popping up that's shifting it. I gotta look this spell up in the book. You're gonna make a save.
Okay. I can tell you what it is at least. It is at least a 13.
All right, so that might or might not be good enough.
That wasn't helpful. Yeah.
So you are making a charisma saving throw.
Okay, that'll be a 16.
And the spell save DC on this is... All right, you got a what?
16. 1-6.
You feel yourself as your body begins to almost disassociate itself. You feel like you're slipping. The world around you seems to sort of shift for a moment. But through sheer force of will, you stay on this plane of existence as you avoid banishment. However,
Crikey.
let's see, what's the... How high are you in the air? Keeping in mind you dipped down to scan for Brilinya and then zoomed
so
over.
Let's say I launch up 10, so maybe between 15 and 20 feet in the air above the shrubbery.
Perfect. You need to make a dexterity saving throw.
Well, that's something I'm good at. Roll an 8. All right, got 16 on that.
Got a 16. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. Dexterity. So you'll take half of this damage.
Oh, but I have evasion, so I'll take none of it.
Wait, you're not
So
going
what happened? What's up?
Damn rogues.
Damn rogues.
Well, you would have taken 13 points of fire damage
But I
and
corkscrew twist.
15 points of radiant damage as you see suddenly from that copse of trees launching up at you, you see a 10-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder of flame
All right.
shoot up towards you. But you and your cursed roguiness, you dodge out of the way. All right, that takes us back to the top of the order with Vale.
The one guy hit isn't like down. He's just hurt, right? Like he wasn't dead.
None of the four of them have died yet.
Yeah.
One
Can I
of
still
them,
see-
the one that took the arrow that you shot with the arrow that jumped down alongside the wall, you can see along the wall. You can kind of glimpse him through the shrubbery, and where actually you can see him better now because some of the shrubs have burned away. He's leaning against the wall, breathing heavily, badly burned. He's in bad shape. The rest of them are just sucking wind.
Okay. I'm gonna lose another arrow at him.
All right.
That'll be a 17 to hit.
Go ahead and roll damage.
Goo. I mean, that's not bad. That'll be 8 points, excuse me, of piercing magical damage.
So seeing him, you just sort of lean up, kind of almost leaning against the edge of this boulevard wall, and your arrow just zooms, arrow straight, perfectly straight along this wall, parallel, and you just right through his throat. And you see a gout of blood as he coughs once and slumps to the ground dead. That's one of them down.
Now, I believe I still have a movement.
Mm-hmm.
Am I able to move near any of the others?
If you you can either move along that boulevard wall.
Yep.
Or, when you say near the others, you mean the other mercenaries?
Yep. Yeah, the other mercenaries. Basically, can I get into melee range of any
you
of them?
actually at this point, because one of them moved 30 feet closer, you could jump up on the wall and get in right up to the one that only took half damage from Dunala's fireball.
Okay, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna basically like whip out the old rapier and get all up in his face.
Excellent.
And then that'll be my turn.
All right. If you said something, I didn't hear you.
Oh, I just said that'll be my turn, and then that's it.
Oh, I thought you were attacking him. Oh, do you only have one attack?
Well, I technically have 2 attacks, but I thought that I couldn't interrupt that with movement.
You
You
can always
absolutely
interrupt with movement.
Can okay? 'Cause
Yes.
See, I am probably thinking of a different edition.
Yeah.
That's a new thing in 5e.
Yep.
Okay.
5e allows you to you can move. If you have these like actions and bonus actions, you could move, action, move, bonus action, move.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, I always thought it was like either you can attack twice or you can attack and then move.
Nope. That's why I wasn't saying anything. I was waiting for you to roll your attack.
I understand now. I do apologize for that.
No,
one.
no problem.
Okay. Then I will do just that. I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna smack him.
I wondered why you only took one shot at that guy that first round.
Well, I also wanted to see because I figured I did enough damage. I didn't want to use up all of the +1 arrows. I'm keeping track on the +1 arrows that I've got left.
Right.
So I know I've got now 18 left. So anyways, that will be a 16 to hit that merc.
This is the one that he took half damage, so he's actually smoldering, and he had sort of kind of come out into this like one of those on his knees. He kind of power slid, and you come running up at him, and you swing your sword down, and you just hear this cling, and a little bit of the carbon ash sort of sprays off of his sword as he brings a longsword up to block your strike. You just missed him.
All right. And then that'll be my turn.
All right. Now it's his turn. As he sort of pushes your sword aside, he stands up, gripping this longsword in 2 hands and attempting to strike you with it. And that's going to be a 22 on the first hit. And a dirty 20 on the second hit.
They both hit.
So you will take 12 points of slashing damage from the first strike. And 11 points of damage from the second strike. So 23 total slashing damage.
That's cool. I'm still up. Don't you worry about me.
All right. And then the other 2, one of them is swinging around to take a shot, swinging his crossbow around to take a shot at Eric. That's going to be an 18 on the die, so that's going to be a 23. Excuse me, sorry, a 21 to hit. And then the other one's shooting at Dunala for a 19 on the die, so 22 to hit. This die normally rolls nat 1s for me a lot, and it is not doing that tonight. So Dunala and Eric each take one die. Dunala, you take 9 points of piercing damage. Eric, you take 7 points of piercing damage. And they rapidly go into reloading their crossbows.
And I'm using my reaction to Uncanny Dodge to take half of that.
Okay, and it's your turn.
All right, I'm flying over and I almost had double spelled on me. This is making Eric a little bit scared. This shrubbery area, is it like waist level shrubs? Are there any like taller
This is a
trees?
This is a copse of trees. We'll go back to the map screen here a moment.
Sweet.
So you're in this sort of square area to the left of that shrine, the circle with the slot in it.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's like full on trees and bushes and
Awesome. He will use the canopy cover as he dives further into the depths of the trees, essentially trying to do the hide bonus action for him to break line of sight with whatever people are harassing him at this point.
All right, give me a stealth check.
That's a 21.
All right, and 21 stealth. So as far as you can tell, you are hidden in the treetops.
So I'm gonna be just peeking around, and do I get a visual on them?
Give me a perception.
That'll be a 19.
All right, and that's going to be. Yes, you can see that the male and female Asimar from the Weeping Friars are moving through. They're looking around, looking up in the trees, trying to find you.
Mm-hmm. He will line up a shot then on. Are they garbed any differently, or significantly differently?
They're both wearing the white and red vestments of the Weeping Friars.
Okay, he will take a shot at then the female, with his oath bow. He's not oathing yet at all. But I believe attacking from hidden gives him advantage, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm learning how to play D&D. Whew, that's a 26 to hit.
Ooh, sorry, that misses. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
That hits.
9, 10, 11, 13, 18 points of piercing damage as an arrow flies out of the canopy and strikes her. Which probably betrays my position, but that'll be my turn.
I'm just checking something. Okay, sorry. How many points? 18?
Yes.
Okay.
18.
I was just checking for a reaction. You're lucky. Okay. So is that your turn?
That is the extent of my turn, yes.
Brilinya, in your cell, would you have put on the nude vestments?
No, and I think upon seeing them, she would burst into tears and sit back on her little cot that they have, knees up, kind of hugging them against her chest.
Would you have eaten?
No.
Brilinya, as you sit on your cot, hugging your knees, the vestments lie in the corner where you threw them, still not wearing them. They've been lying there now for 3 weeks. Have you refused to eat this entire time?
Yeah.
You have been growing weaker by the day, with every day that passes. But you also know that here at the monastery, Brother Mateus has infused, and the Weeping Friars upkeep ancient magics that infuse a limited amount of sustaining magical effects. It's not enough to keep you sustained indefinitely, but it's how you are able to go without food and drink for so long. You have a point of exhaustion. And I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
That is a 5.
Roll me a D100.
Uh, 83.
Okay. I will tell you later what that means. Brother Mateus again unlocks the door, comes into your cell. It has been weeks, Brilinya. You refused to eat. You refused any natural sustenance. You will not put your vestments on. You grow weaker by the day. I give you one last opportunity. Put on your vestments.
I think at this point, Berlinya's hair is matted and her clothes are covered in dirt. There's extremely dark circles under her eyes that are very contrasted by her almost translucently pale skin. And she just wearily looks up at Brother Mateus. I will not be your pawn any longer. Kill me if you must. I care not anymore.
I've never wanted to kill you, Brilinya. I only want your service. One way or another, I will get it. You hear the echoing ring of the door closing and locking behind you again. As you hold your knees to your chest, no tears come anymore. You're too dehydrated for tears. And you see, imagine a camera moving slowly, panning around you. As the days go by, you see the blur of Brother Mateus constantly replacing the stew. But the vestments lie gathering dust and cobwebs in the corner. On the wall, every time he enters, Brother Mateus, with a mark of charcoal, he makes a mark of the passage of days. As the camera pans around, we see that at this point, 3 months have gone by. Dunala, it's your turn.
When the crossbow bolt strikes Dunala, what comes out is a mixture of red blood and then sickly green ichor. And he pulls it out of his shoulder, and he flips it around in his hand, and he rears it back like a javelin, staring at the man who shot him. Is this man within 120 feet?
They're all within 120 feet of
Perfect.
you.
So I pre-rolled in the side chat. I have a 23 to hit with a chaos bolt that I amped up to 4th level. And as he throws the bolt in his hand, the crossbow bolt back at this man, it completely disintegrates and becomes this twisting helix of snakes, black in color, jet black. And they strike this man dead, dealing 34 points of psychic damage, as their fangs will sink into his cerebellum.
Which of the 3 were you targeting? The one that was attacking Vale?
Me.
Oh, the one who shot you?
Yeah.
As these snakes disappear inside him, it's a moment like the end of the Matrix, where he drops his crossbow and he sort of, and you actually see the undulations under his skin as it looks like snakes are writhing under his skin, and he just explodes in a burst of black and green energy, and a red mist, as his body physically explodes as well.
Loving it.
All right, it is excellent. It is the Aesmer twins' turns. So, first I got to see if they can find you. I believe you had like a 21 or something like that on your stealth check, Eric.
Yeah, but then I attacked afterwards.
That's true. So they know where you are.
Yeah, they'd be very dumb to not know where I am now.
That's right. That is right. So, This spell tool I'm using is really crappy about telling you whether it's a ranged attack or a save. So we're gonna go old school here with the book, and I need to see if I need to make an attack against you or you need to make a saving throw, and that is going to be wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'm just wondering because this. I'm tipping my hand a little bit, but I'm relatively new to casting such high-level spells. So it's weird because it doesn't say whether you make an attack. It just says that you take this damage.
Which spell is this?
You're getting hit with Feeble Mind.
That is, I believe Feeble Mind is a wisdom save.
No, it says you take the damage and then you must take a save or something happens.
There we go. Yeah, so auto take the damage. And then...
So you're going to take, as this, one of them, the male warlock, the Asimir, he raises his hand at you and you take, well, you got lucky there, 7 points of psychic damage.
Okay.
And I need you to make a charisma save or an intelligence saving throw.
Uh-oh. That's a total of using a domain dice, please. I realize we have those.
Knowing what Feeble Mind does, this is pretty much like a save or die spell at this point.
Almost, yeah. So that's going to knock you guys down by 1. So re-roll that save.
Well, that's no better. By chance, is this caster have a negative spellcasting modifier? Because I got a total of 8.
The DC for their spellcasting is 15.
All right. I'm now an actual bird.
Your intelligence and your charisma has just become 1. You cannot cast spells, you cannot activate magic items, you cannot understand language, or communicate in any intelligible way. You can, however, identify your friends, follow them, and even protect them.
I would like to squawk and just begin to make bird noises and chirps.
All right. That was one of them.
Yucky poop. All right.
I wasn't setting out to turn you into a bird. The other one, the female who you shot at, actually, I think that they're actually going to leave you. Seeing that the spell hit you and that you're seeing as your behavior suddenly changes. I think that they're going to continue what they were doing, which is trying to get away. So, but you don't know that. You just know you're a bird. So that was them some. All right, that puts us back to the top of the order.
All right. Well, I cough up a bit of blood, and I'm angry, and I'm gonna stab the dude who hurt me. What but good?
Yep, you're engaged directly with this mercenary who you can tell he's a skilled mercenary.
All right. Well, oh, good. That's a 17 to hit for the first attack.
That's what you need to hit him.
All right, just give me 1 second here. Cool. And that will be... and the first one will be 9 points of piercing damage. No, excuse me. Oh yeah, that's right. 9 points of piercing damage.
9?
9.
9.
Stop it. Wrong game. And then, so I come up, like I just thrust up on, like find a little hole in his armor and kind of get into his guts, and then pull it out, and I go for a second attack. Ooh, I'm going to use a point of inspiration, and I'm going to re-roll that.
All right, do it.
Because that was not cool. Actually getting low on inspiration. What is this even? Oh, that's a lot better. That's actually a hell of a lot better. That'll be a 20 shit ton to hit.
Yep.
I am actually... Do I even want to bother? No, I don't want to bother right now. Was going to use a Divine Smite, but... Nah. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. That's a lot better. That's 13 points of piercing damage. They come straight back up and then like kind of find a little gap in the armor around the chest area. Get him in a lung.
You, after his hard strikes on you, you guys are trading blows at this point as you return the damage, and you can see him bleeding from under his armor. And he even staggers a little bit. But he just looks you up and down, and he spits blood onto the pavement. Not today! And he's going to attack you. Well, are you done with your turn, I should say?
Yeah, I'm done with my turn.
He's going to take his attacks at you. That is a 19 to hit.
That hits.
And that is a... Can't see what die, so that's an 18 to hit.
That just hits.
So both of these are going to hit.
Bring it.
The first strike is 11 points of slashing.
Okay, hang on a second.
And the second is 11 points. You take another 22 points of slashing damage. As he strikes at you, you can tell he's putting everything into these. He's holding this longsword two-handed. He's slashing almost wildly. And I would imagine Dunala can see this as well, because you're looking in this direction as this, basically as you two are trading blows. With every strike, the swords, there's like this arc of blood that sprays through, splattering the boulevard and the trees. There's two more. Nope, there's one more that is left. And let's see, Dunala, you dropped back. No, he still stayed. He hasn't moved up at all. He is going to start advancing forward. And he's going to take a shot at Dunala. That is a natural 20. Which, let's see. Natural 20s, as we remember, are automatic max damage plus roll once on top of that. So you're going to take 11. So even with that critical hit, you're going to take 14 points of piercing damage. As this crossbow bolt, he just starts moving forward, walking, leveling the crossbow bolt, and just fires it straight into your shoulder, Dunala. Actually, we'll say shoulder for now, because I buried my, wait. I can't find it. I have a location die, body location die. Anyway, you get a shoulder hit. For, yeah, what'd I say, 13? Is that what I said? Yep, 13 points of piercing. And Eric. What you gonna do, bird? What you gonna do, bird?
So Eric is kind of just perching on one of the branches of these trees. He's going to begin to preen himself with his beak, just like, pulling out any loose feathers, and otherwise make unintelligible bird noises into the wind, and realize that he's a bit hungry, but that's about it.
Eric, you're holding in your hands a strange piece of wood bent at an odd angle.
I'll lick it.
You also can hear the sounds behind you a little ways. You can hear the sounds of metal clashing against metal.
I think he's going to take note of this commotion and make sure that it doesn't get any closer. Because if it gets any closer, that's probably danger, and he doesn't like danger. So he's going to keep an eye on it, or not keep an ear out for it. But that's about it. While he continues to preen himself.
Make a perception check.
He squawks a good 19 perception.
You can see over in that direction where you hear the sounds, you see the familiar dark-skinned man and pale-skinned man. You recognize them.
Oh, he likes those people, and because he doesn't want to be burdened with his strange metal, his strange wood thing, he's kind of just going to let go of it and fly over to dark skinned man, because he likes dark skinned man more than white skinned man.
Sorry, were you going over there? Or
he drops his bow because it's it's gonna burden him in his flight, and he's just gonna he has essentially 100 feet of movement for fly. He's just gonna come over to Dunala and see what's up.
So Dunala, Eric flies over next to you. And do you land next to him?
Yeah, he'd land. Make a squawk.
Brilinya, you are in an area of the monastery you have never been before. The walls are stone. The area all around you is illuminated in torchlight, torches on sconces. The room appears to be quite large, about 40 feet in diameter. You find yourself strapped to a wooden table. Your arms are stretched out, so you're in a T pose on this table. You have been stripped of the foul clothes that you were wearing, and against your will, you are dressed in the white portion of your vestments. All around you, the perimeter, up in like a gallery, dozens and dozens of weeping friar monks watch from the shadows as Brother Matthias approaches you. You have tried for too long to leave behind that which is a part of you. You have stripped yourself of your vestments. You left us. And though you still bear the scars of our order, you refuse to wear that which identifies you as a weeping friar. And so now, you will be permanently marked. And he draws over an assortment of tools that are on a side table. They are a very sharp, thin knife, a glass tube, and there is a device that looks like some sort of it's a stone that has a sort of magical fire emanating from it, on which a metal pot sits, and inside it a silvery liquid boils, bubbles. I'm not going to lie to you, Brilinya. This is going to hurt a lot. As Brother Matthias begins to slice open sections of your scars, creating little channels. Using the glass tube and attaching a glass funnel to it, he raises up the metal container and begins pouring a searing hot liquid metal into the channels of your scars. I need you to first make a Constitution saving throw, which I believe is at disadvantage because of your exhaustion.
That's a 2.
You tell me what this scene for Brilinya's perspective plays out as you, no matter how hard you try, you cannot hide the pain, both physical and mental, of what is happening.
At first, she looks at him with this defiance, this look that she will be able to overcome this, but as the pain begins too much, she begins to cry out, to scream at the top of her lungs. And through those screams, sometimes intelligible, or sometimes you can hear what she's saying, but most of the time it just is unintelligible, mixing together with these sounds, these guttural screams, like something from an animal. She starts saying, I'm sorry, as intermixing with the screams and the tears, and her back arching her, and her hands, they resist the binds to try and get away from this pain.
I need you. I want you to roll a D100. I'm actually going to have you do this twice, but I want you to roll one. Roll 1 first.
That is an 80.
Okay. And then do it one more time.
22.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to resolve part of this when we come back. I just realized as I'm looking away that everything has fallen apart. That will actually take us to Dunala's turn, which we will. Why don't we go ahead and take our break right now? Mike had some computer issues and dropped out. Is rebooting his computer, so we'll go ahead and take a 10-minute break right now. I'll stick around here until Mike comes back in, and we can slot him back in his position. We'll probably have to rearrange cameras, but let's go ahead and take our break now. We'll come back and we'll finish playing this scene out and this whole combat situation. So thank you to everybody who's tuned in. Please stick around. We got some information in the break time for advertisements and such, and we'll be back in we should forget to bring this up. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. I just got to get my timer going. So we'll see you back here in 10 minutes. This is the intermission. is a channel dedicated to the love of and participation in the world of tabletop role-playing games. Whether we're designing encounters or miniature terrain, building worlds or dice towers, or just playing games, everything we do here is because we love this amazing hobby. That is why the mission statement of Mini Terrain Domain is simply imagine, build, play. If you like to watch live play or actual play D&D games, you can do so at twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain 3 days a week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays, you can join us for Chult of Personality, a long-running campaign set in the Tomb of Annihilation adventure setting. On Mondays, you can join us for All That Glitters, a Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign guaranteed to be epic proportion. And every Thursday night, you can join us for Dawnbringers, the Forge of Fury. This is a series of mini campaigns going across the gamut of several well-known modules. Season 1, which is available on youtube.com/Mini Terrain Domain, took place in the Sunless Citadel, and Season 2 is currently taking place in the Forge of Fury. If you can't join us in the chat for our live shows, that's okay. You can usually catch the roleplay, or rather the replay, on YouTube just 2 days later. If you're a fan of what we do here and you'd like to support what we do, there are a variety of ways you can do this. First, simply follow the Twitch channel or hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Next, make sure you follow all of the participants of each game or show on their various social media platforms. To do this, if you're watching live with us on Twitch, you can simply type an exclamation point and that person's name into the Twitch chat, or on YouTube, you can look down below the information bar and all of their links can be found there. Finally, if you would like to provide monetary support, which flows right back into the production of the channel so we can continue making great content, you can join the growing list of patrons on Patreon. Additionally, you can also use Ko-Fi or Coffee to buy a coffee or two. I like coffee. But the absolute best way to support the channel is to follow and subscribe on Twitch and YouTube and join us in the chat. If you have an Amazon Prime account and you link it to your Twitch account, you can subscribe to one channel per month absolutely free. No matter what you decide to do, we are just happy to have you here. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more great content in just a few moments. Remember, metadata!
Hi everyone, I'm V and I have the YouTube channel, The Crafting Muse. Please be sure to go over there and check it out if you too would like to learn how to make some tabletop terrain, paint miniatures, as well as some game accessories. I'm always happy to have new subscribers over there.
Learn the ways of the Game Master, the Dungeon Master, and delve into the minds of the players. If you're looking for adventure, excitement, thrills, and a dice-rolling good time, grab the modules each month and play the campaign with your gaming group with quest givers DM Scotty and DMG. They're taking you on an epic journey through the role-playing experience every Friday. You're sure to get hooked on adventure.
And we really liked the idea of creating adventures together, so we thought that'd be a lot of fun to share with you guys.
I didn't think this kind of stuff would come out of my brain. We are quest givers, and I'll see you in the next video.
Adventure Mixtape, a music and adventure anthology, is a collection of 4 adventures for the 5th edition of the world's most popular role-playing game. The adventures are setting neutral and meant to be seamlessly dropped into any world that has a large seaside city and a jungle environment. With a bit of adaptation, the environments could be changed to suit any group. In Treaty of the Tiger King by Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library, a distant king arrives at the city to negotiate the peaceful end of a war, but the mercenary guild has other insidious plans for him. Will the players be able to thwart assassination attempts against King Rami and help him negotiate circles of social intrigue in order to finally end the war? In Madness of the Majestic Menagerie by Ken Brees of Burling's Beard, the famous Majestic Menagerie draws hordes of visitors to the metropolis and cultural hub known since time immemorial as Splendor by the Sea. But now the gates of the famous zoo have been shut, and the grand opening of the new section has been jeopardized by a spate of mysterious accidents and, it's whispered, grievous injuries due to uncontrollable creatures. Mr. Majestic seeks to hire investigators and troubleshooters who can keep a low profile to iron out any problems before the impending grand opening becomes a complete disaster. Do you have what it takes to uncover what's driving the madness that's befallen the Majestic Menagerie? In The Infernal Collection by Sharang Biswas, when an influential fashion designer is found dead days before a major fashion show, heroes are called in to solve the mystery, prevent any further destruction, and help the fashion house prepare for the show. Gorillas in Their Midst by Jacob W. Norman of Mini Terrain Domain is a pulp action adventure wrought with perilous challenges and a high possibility of death. But what is adventure without danger? Of course, there is the lure of vast piles of unclaimed treasure and the accompanying fame that await those intrepid adventurers who would defy the odds and plunge into the heart of darkness. In this adventure, the characters will face raging river rapids, wicked waterfalls, poisonous plants, venomous vines, sinking sands, treacherous traps, and the vicious jungle demon itself, Awakane Gori. Grab your satchels, fedoras, and bullwhips. Adventure awaits. The Adventure Mixtape also comes with 4 original songs inspired by and written for the heroic adventures herein. This collection of music and story is something unique. We had no better word for it than mixtape. If you ever received a cassette, CD, or digital playlist curated to take you on a memorable journey, then you'll recognize what you find inside this volume. Also included in the Adventure Mixtape, courtesy of Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library, are exclusive combat cards. Special cards that contain all of the items, monsters, and spellcasters found within these adventures to make running your adventure all the more easier. Adventure Mixtape, a music and adventure anthology, is available exclusively on drivethrurpg.com.
Cryfall, once home to the most wondrous kingdom the world had ever known, blasted to nothing in just a fortnight. It is here that the fiends of hell walk among us. It is here where all things die. Welcome to Cryfall. Demon invaders roam the landscape and have conquered all. The world is a ravaged and wrathful wasteland, where the old world lies buried beneath the blood and sand with its gods and its secrets. Water is fought over with blood and steel. Compatible with the 5th edition of the world's oldest fantasy role-playing game, this book contains all new character creation options, including all of the familiar classes with new aspects befitting the ravaged wastelands of Cryfall, along with new backgrounds, subclasses, spells, feats, and so much more. New races will allow you to play as the Cursed Ash Elves, the Forsaken Humans, the Primordial Incarnate, the Proud Orcs, the Reptilian Suri, or the Infernal-Blooded Tieflings. New game mechanics such as blood, grit, and effort give your games an intense focus on lethality and survival. Numerous roll tables full of ideas to help bring your games to life. Featuring incredible thematic art by Brandish Gilhelm of Broodhammer Games, as well as Lloyd Collins. The people of Cryfall are not heroes. In Cryfall, it is courage just to survive. Will you rise to face the tide of demons, or will you succumb to the hostile elements? Available now on drivethrurpg.com.
everybody in the house like, what?
All right, we're back. Everybody's a little jumbled right now because we're still waiting for Megan and Marquise got a little split screen going on up in the corner there as we're waiting to see if Mike can get rebooted and get back into the game chat here. Because if we have to continue without him, I'd really hate to kill his character without him here. Nobody wants that.
What is this way? This is an eldritch abomination that I'm looking at with this screen, dog. Like, what kind of fusion evil is this?
So Megan, if you move over far enough, you can have like half your face on the screen, and the Marquise can do the same, and you can be like one person with two faces. Oh, Mike's
Andy's back. All right.
Mike.
I think
I'm
Mike,
playing this character.
Marquise, I think if you turn your camera off and back on again,
I'm Vale.
It'll put you guys back into place. Do you really want Mike playing Dunala, though?
Yo, Mike, I'll give you some coaching on how to do it.
You give me the character sheet, we'll give it a shot.
All right, Mike, what was the last thing you heard before you got booted?
Oh, geez. I think Brill was about to have some really painful stuff happen.
Yeah, so...
And then all of a sudden... And it's like, what?
So basically, the last scene was Brilinya is having Brother Mateus is ceremoniously cutting open her scars and pouring some sort of silvery molten metal with a glass tube and basically sort of inlaying her scars with some sort of metal. And she rolled a 2 on her con save, so it is incredibly painful, and there will be some interesting effects from this that we will resolve very shortly. As it is now back in the jungle, it is Dunala's turn. Eric has just sort of landed next to you and is acting very, very bird-like.
Dunala notices that there's something wrong with Eric the moment he lands, because he doesn't land with any kind of quip, pun, or otherwise some kind of
no
clever or witty line. So as Dunala turns, he looks at you, Eric, and as he sees you, and you see him, you see the scales peeling back from his face, which you don't understand. You see his eyes turn back to human eyes, which you don't understand. And when he asks you, Eric, what is it? You say...
I peck at the ground in front of you, and then squawk.
Dunala stands there for a solid moment. I guess I'm kind of playing with time a little bit, Jake, but I feel like that's like a good point for where that crossbow bolt would strike him on the shoulder. And he then looks back up and he sees that man having moved forward. And he brushes Eric out of his mind for just a moment, takes out the crossbow bolt, spins it, and will throw this one at this man as well. With another 19 on the die plus 8, so I'm assuming that hits.
It's very difficult to hear you when you turn away.
So I got a 19 plus 8.
Yeah.
Hit.
Yep, that's a hit.
I gotta roll a lot of dice. So give me 1 second. I don't know what my other D is. There it is. 6, 4, 10, then 6, 12, 22, 25. That's going to be 27 points of, let me see the damage type. Oh, God. Oh, God. All right. That's fire damage for this one.
And it was how much? 27?
27.
That's all right. That's just barely enough. As you strike him with this, and it's just like instant immolation. And it's almost like the force of the arrow striking him, the chaos bolt hitting him, it's like the flames are burning backwards, and he begins to scream, and the flames just burn for an instant, and as they blow away, following the flames, his ashen skeleton just dissipates with only a few bits of metal from his armor and the tips of the crossbow bolts that hit the ground.
Go ahead, Si. In that conflagration, as it begins to settle, Dunala yells to the last man, "All your friends are dead. I have killed 3 of them myself. Drop your steel. We have questions for you." And that'll end his turn.
Make me an insight check real quick.
That's a 7 on the die. I'm assuming that's going to be a fail.
Well, that was more for you to be able to determine what was actually going on with Eric. Give me an intimidation check.
Gotcha.
Calling out against this dude.
Intimidation. Ooh, God, that's good. That's an 18 total. Huh? Damn, this guy's got balls. I gotta blow up more of his friends.
I'm trying to see where we are. Let's see. All right. So, Vale, you see as Dunala yells out, you see something shift in this mercenary as he suddenly looks around him and realizes he's the only one that's there. But it's your turn. He doesn't make any move to lower his sword. What are you going to do, Vale?
I'm going to kill him.
All right.
I mean, should be, kind of a given. Stab him. He took most of my health away. I'm going to put the hurt on him. And that's a 17 to hit.
That's exactly what you need. Hit him.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And that's 11 points of piercing damage.
You drive your sword into him, and he's looks down at the blade. Kill me and be done with it. He's still alive.
Mother of God. All right. Give me one quick sec here because I had to restart my character sheet, and it didn't have the right thing on it. There we go. That's better. I didn't have 49 hit points. Way less than that. All right. And I'm going to hit him again. And it fell on the floor, which means it doesn't count.
Did you have 49 hit points before this fight started?
No. No, I had full. I was full up.
Okay.
But
because I know how much damage you've taken, and I'm like, that doesn't leave you a whole lot.
You shouldn't be alive. As a matter of fact, you should be in the negative. So that's a nat 17 on the die. So we can assume that's gonna hit.
So go ahead, and since this is the last visible combatant, how do you dispatch this veteran mercenary?
I like pulling out my rapier again. I kind of move around, like kind of juke around him, putting my rapier, kind of holding it in the reverse grip, and then very quickly in through the back at the kind of like base of the neck. I just kind of shoot it out quickly and pull it out as quickly as possible, flicking the blood off and then sheathing it back while he's standing there, and then just with a little elbow kind of pushing him forward as he just collapses forward face down.
As this man drops to the ground in front of you, let's see. He collapses, and you realize that none of the other mercenaries are around you. Eric, I would like you to either make a wisdom check, survival check, to determine whether or not you're going to instinctively fly home, or you can willingly make that decision.
I'm gonna roll a dice. He got a really high survival check, so I feel like he knows that this place is dangerous and scary. He's gonna just turn to Dunala, kind of just rub the edge of his beak against him, and he's gonna fly off.
Dunala, make me another insight check at advantage.
Dunala would actually probably fail because the moment that Vale stabs this dude, uncharacteristically, because he never shows as much emotion, he starts screaming at you, Vale, saying, "What are you doing? We needed him for information."
I'd think with that you wouldn't even notice that Eric has flown off. You hear the two of you, Dunala and Vale. You hear from that copse of trees that you had previously seen Eric fly off towards. You hear Brilinya screaming at the top of her lungs. A scream of intense madness, not madness, that's not what I meant to say. Of maddening agony. It's the most incredible scream you have ever heard from Brilinya. And it doesn't stop. What do you do?
I'm going to go run.
Yeah. Break into a run in that direction.
Flat out sprinting.
You begin sprinting along the boulevard until you're parallel with this copse of trees, and you jump down off the edge of the boulevard, and at the base of a tree, the tallest of the trees, it's a thick trunked tree, you see Brilinya wearing brilliant white vestments that she was not previously wearing. Vale, you're the only one that would recognize these as being almost identical to what she was wearing when you first met her back in Baldur's Gate at Sindra Sylvain's homestead. But the red ribbons around her arms that were covering the scars that you have grown accustomed to, you now see that all of where her scars were are an angry red of inflammation. But you see a brilliant silver lining, creating, almost replicating these bands around her wrists, as her wrists are now inlaid with mithril. She's screaming in intense agony and pain. As you rush to her, both of you make a perception check. I'm actually going to have you make this at disadvantage. Unless you don't care about Brilinya and her screams.
Whoa,
unless her
Jesus,
unless her screams
silly.
don't affect you.
Wow.
I'm looking at you, Dunala. I'm just kidding.
Oh, man. No. Perception at disadvantage? All right. Oh, my God. Wow, that was just perfection of a roll. Perception, 19. And that's with disadvantage. I rolled a 17 and an 18.
Okay. Dunala. You're muted, Marquise.
I hate this mute button. Dunala has to roll perception. I thought it was just Vale.
No, I want both of you.
Hey, you hate the
I
mute
got a
button?
17 on the die. Perception. So 18 total.
Okay, you will both notice a couple of things as you rush to Brilinya. I'm going to set the scene and then let everybody react to this. As you come rushing up to Brilinya, as I described her, and for the moment, Brilinya is oddly lying flat on the ground with her arms out to her sides in a sort of a T pose. Lying at the base of the tree nearby is Eric's bow and about a half a dozen brightly colored feathers from Eric's plumage. Across the clearing, near one of the walls to the edge of one of these shrines, you look up and you see the two Asamer, the male and the female, both wearing the same vestments as Brilinya, as they lift a violet-skinned figure off the ground. He looks weak. He looks spent. And they look across the clearing at you, and the three of them vanish in a cloud of smoke that seems to rise from the very floor of the jungle. All around this area where Brilinya is, the ground is littered with what looks like thousands of tiny shards of diamond. What would you do?
The first thing that Dunala does is he wheels straight to you, Vale. He grabs you by the shoulder, and he just looks at you, and then he points to the scars and says, "Heal her now." And he'll let go of you.
And I was actually going to do that anyway. As a matter of fact, I could feel like it would be kind of one of those at the same time, you telling me to do what I was already going to do and me telling you to do what you were already going to do and try and go after them. You know, it'd be kind of like a, go healer, go after Brother Mateus. And, you know, kind of at the same, you know, so yeah, I would quickly, as we're like on the same wavelength already, I would rush to Brilinya's side and I would put both hands kind of just above where it's like burning, or at least the inflammation is. And I would cast lay on hands and just kind of like try and push it outward to try and like heal and like get rid of the pain. Also, I would also have my probably a dagger on standby to cut off each arm just to be on the safe side. I mean, you know, you never know, right? And plus it's mithril. I mean, that's not cheap, so we could probably make some money off that.
So what kind of healing are you dumping into her?
So it'd be lay on hands. And let's see what I've got. Okay, good. So it'll be what level are we anyway? 8? Cool. Yep. So I've got so I'll probably try and cure like at least 20. Try and do 20 points of healing.
Your healing magic, as you lay on hands, the red welts, the angry red skin around the mithril inlays on Brilinya's arms vanishes. And the skin begins to sort of knit itself over these mithril inlays until, as your healing effects are spent, all of Brilinya's scars are gone from her arms. But just below the surface of the skin, you can see the mithril banding that Brother Mateus placed there. Brilinya. In your mind, you have been gone for 6 months. You have endured isolation and emotional neglect for most of those 6 months. Until suddenly Brother Matthias brought you and performed this ritual with the mithril. You have picked up a very subtle psychological effect from your incarceration. I would like you to roll 1d10.
Three.
All right. Make a note on your character somewhere of 30 hours. You look up into the face of this half-elven man that is now gripping your arms where you previously suffered this pain, and he has taken the pain away. You see a dark-skinned man standing nearby looking down at you. You are in the middle of a jungle. You have no idea how you got here. You have no idea where you are. You have no idea who these two men are.
I think immediately, as soon as her vision would clear and her mind comes back to the present, she would rip away from Vale's grasp and begin. She's sitting and she'd be just scrabble back as fast as she can. She holds out her hand. Who are you? Stay away from me.
It's okay, Brill. Brill, it's me. It's me, Vale.
No, I don't know you. Stay away.
And I'll take a couple of steps back, like still hunched, trying to be at her height. Hopefully in a way that'll maybe just calm her a little bit more. But I'll back up and okay, I'm backing up.
Where's Brother Matthias? Is he coming back? Is he where did he go?
Brother Matthias is gone. He left with his 2 Azima friends. He left you.
No, he wouldn't leave. This is just a trick. I know it is. It's just a trick to get me to break. She kind of looks a bit confused for a moment, but then she looks back and her eyes dart from Dunala to Vale, just wide.
You don't know who we are, do you?
She just looks at you and imperceptibly just shakes her head.
You don't know where we are. You don't know what you've done. You don't even remember your own sister, do you?
I don't have a sister. I was at the monastery. And she looks down at her arms. I don't know why I deserved this punishment. I must have done something horrible. What?
As you look down at your arms, you're holding them in front of you, looking at your forearms. You see the mithril just below the surface. And then there's a sort of shift in focus as you see on the ground next to you is this very ornate looking bow just lying there. If you haven't noticed, I sent you a private message.
Yeah, she would look at it and she would kind of shift. She would kind of stand up in almost like a crouching pose, still not keeping her eyes off of Vale and Dunala. And she would slowly go over and she would pick up this bow.
Now, Brilinya, you do remember your name is Brill, yeah?
Yes.
Good. Right, good. You've been here with us for a while now. And we've been in Chult. You know where Chult is, right?
I've never heard of it. How do I know you're just not part of Brother Mateus's tricks? A way to...
Right, look. You have respect for Brother Mateus, right? You like him, you think he's one of your mates.
No.
Okay, well, good. Because he took you away from us while we were fighting some mercenaries that he had hired. He trapped you somewhere. And then we found you. You were here and you were screaming, and I tried to take your pain away. So just it's okay. Nobody here is going to hurt you. I promise. You have my word on that.
Dunala, Brilinya, you, as Vale is talking to Brilinya, you hear from the direction of the boulevard, you hear a twig snap. And you hear a rustling. Someone moving through the bushes.
Come out, whoever is looking in there, before I make you come out.
Is it safe? As you hear the voice of Orvix.
Come out.
And the elderly form of Orvix Okramis comes out, and he's kind of ducking and flinching and looking around. If he had the West, he kind of looks at you with equal parts horror and awe, Dunala. Oh, very powerful.
Dunala looks at him, ignores him, looks back to Brilinya and asks her, "Do you know this man?"
Do I?
You do not. You know who you are. And you retain all of your racial traits and your class features. So all of your abilities you're aware of. You know who you are. And only the monastery and Brother Mateus are you able to remember. Everything else, you don't know who any of these people are.
Could Brilinya do an insight check after and looking at Vale to see whether she thinks that he's being honest or genuine with what he's saying?
I'm sorry, say that last part again. You want to do what now? You want to do
an insight. Insight.
Yes.
Okay. So that is a 12.
Treat it as a very tenuous attempt at what you're trying to do.
So you can see Brilinya's outstretched hand that she's kind of kept out, kind of waver a little bit and drop ever so slightly. But she turns to Donala. I do not know who that is.
Donala takes in a deep, sharp breath, his hands clenching, his scales rippling and then fading along his flesh. And then he turns to this, what's his name, brother? Oblex? Not Oblex, Orvix, there we go. He turns to Orvix and he says, they cast some kind of magic on her. And then when they released her, she knows not who I am, who you are, who Vale is, where she is, and where is Eric at?
The Birdman. I saw him but moments ago, flying off toward the east.
He was strange, Vale. Donala says, turning to you, Vale. When he landed beside me, you killed that man who I told you not to kill because I told him I wanted him to surrender because this man was hired and we could have asked this man, interrogate this man, pulled information from his brain about what happened to her, where Brother Matthias is. But you had to go and kill him.
Sorry, I was hurt. My blood was up, and I just got caught up in the moment.
I do not know what to do.
Orvix is walking over to Brilinya. Hands up. Just Brilinya.
Stay where you are. Don't come any closer.
Dude, I mean, not to harm you, Brilinya. It is.
I don't know that.
Orvex. Okramus. You know me. I have served the Weeping Friars for decades.
Brilinya clenches her eyes and holds her head, and she wavers for a bit. No, that can't be. I don't know you.
You said you raised your hand up toward him?
Yep.
His eyes fixate on your arms. What happened to your scars? What have they done to you? How is this possible? And he seems to be looking to you, Vale and Donala, for answers.
We don't have answers. I just told you they took her, they bewitched her, they returned her, they did this to her, he points to her arms. They did that to her, he points to her head, empty of memories. And then he says, everything that she had been doing in terms of progress is gone. All her memories are gone. She does not know who we are. She thinks that we work for this brother Matthias.
I just wanted to take her pain away and laid my hands on her arms and tried to.
But Brilinya, please. He takes another step towards you, holding his hands out. Let me look at you.
I think out of reflex, she is so scared right now. She is going to cast Eldritch Blast on him.
Oh no.
Yeah, she is just so freaked out right now.
Okay.
I mean, being in solitary for 6 months, that's...
6 months over the course of 30 seconds? It has an effect on a person.
Quick question. Quick question.
Yes.
Can I make a reaction?
Yeah.
Can I make a reaction to stand in front, in between, and take that full in the butt?
Okay. Brilinya, make your attack.
Thanks, Connor. That was good. Chef's kiss.
That is a 29 to hit.
Ha! Does not hit. I'm just kidding. That hit.
Fire 2 beams.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Got your back, Mike.
I'll think of another character.
It's a 16.
16 does not hit.
Okay. Brilinya, do the damage for the one Eldritch Blast versus Vale.
That is 6 points of force damage, and it also pushes you back 10 feet.
So that is 6 points?
That's going to slam you into the tree. Brilinya, roll another d6.
It's a 5.
As you take 5 more points of bludgeoning damage. Quick shout out to longtime channel fan and patron of the Domain Dice, Joe Pereira. I'll get his name right in there. We know him as Chameleon Fam. Just dropped 1,000 bits, granting you guys 2 more Domain Devils. Brilinya, you see as this stranger, this half-elf, jumps in front of your blast. Gets slammed into the tree. Orvix cowers. He actually moves over closer to you, Dunala, gripping your arm. I don't know how this is possible, but she bears the marks. The ritual has been performed on her. The tears of the mountain.
As he says that, Dunala steps forward, one arm out protectively before this old man, and he looks at you, Brilinya. And if you look at Dunala, you see his second pair of eyelids snap forth, back and forth very quickly. His innate spellcasting feature, so that way it has no camp to it. He is casting suggestion on you. And he says to you, Brilinya, he's doing a wisdom saving throw. You will put down your hands, and you will be quiet until we are ready to talk.
I think during this, like as soon as she had hit Vale, she's just crying and muttering, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So that's a wisdom saving throw?
Mm-hmm.
That is a 6.
Yes. So a suggestion, you essentially follow a suggestion as long as, for 8 hours actually is how long it lasts. So that's nice.
So her eyes kind of go wide. I think the tears are still streaming down her face, but she immediately closes her mouth and her hand slowly, shakingly lowers.
She will be docile until the spell has ended. Vale, come here.
I get up real slow and just cough and just spit out some blood. And I, not very quickly, stagger over to Dunala.
We need to get somewhere safe, make shelter like we did last night, so that way this one, he points to Orvix, can tell us everything we need to know about these rituals been performed on Brilinya, so that way you can heal your wounds. This is a place of 1T. There's no place to have 2 cripples with us.
We can take shelter in the compound still. You guys know you're only a few hundred, like less than 100 yards away from the compound you sheltered in the night before.
Let us go and be quick before there are eyes on us that there should not be. And he will go to you, Brill, and he will reach down and he will grab you by your arm and try to pick you up to your feet.
You can see.
Go ahead.
You can see that even though she does not speak because you told her to be quiet, you can see that she looks at you with just so much fear in her eyes, and the tears are continuing to stream down her face.
That fear hurts Dunala, And it hurts even more because he hasn't felt emotional pain in so fucking long. But it hurts him regardless. And you see him not take a step back, but freeze for a moment. And then he very quickly will turn to look away from you, take his hand off of you, and say, "We are going." And he will begin to walk back straight to the compound. And as he's walking, he will say to Orvix, "You will talk as we will walk, and you will tell us everything that you know about what they have done."
Well, you know it's only going to take you like 2 minutes to get where you're going.
Yeah.
As you make your way back and you climb up onto the boulevard and you all begin moving forward back towards this compound that you sheltered in before. Dunala, make me a perception check.
That's a 10.
As everybody is moving across this boulevard, Dunala, you sense to the north, even just beyond that copse of trees where you left, you just get that sense of somebody watching you. You turn in that direction, but you don't see anybody. You see a couple of brightly colored parrots, as if suddenly startled.
As a 1T himself, Dunala is well aware of their ability to sneakily hide and observe others. And instantly, Vale, you would notice this better than the other two. You see Dunala stop and go completely rigid as he looks that way. And you see his eyes rapidly change back from human to snake eyes, as if he's trying to understand or see something different over there. And then he will say, "We have been seen. We've been noticed." And then he will turn and keep walking to the compound.
I'll probably be bringing up the rear. And as the rest of them go in, I'll stop before going the compound and look and try and see if I can see who it is that's looking.
Go ahead and make a perception check. I'm going to say, since Dunala pointed it out, I'm going to have you do it at advantage.
Okay. I'm going to use one more point of inspiration. Whoops. And I'm going to re-roll that. Okay, well, that's better. And that'll be a 13.
You catch a glimpse. Such a fleeting glimpse that it's almost as if you're not 100% sure you saw it. But you think you saw a set of yellow eyes, slitted mirrors of Dunala's, far up the boulevard, looking out from the shrubs, or they turn and disappear in the jungle. The 5 of you, Vale, Dunala, or rather 4 of you, Vale, Dunala, Brilinya, and Orvix, make your way back. Brilinya clutching this whole time to her chest the bow that she picked up off the ground, almost clutching it like a security item. As you move back into the same building that you had previously taken shelter in, and Orvix begins to kindle a fire again. "Yes, I have much to tell you." As the fire flares up and you all begin resting, we pan out over the jungle. We see outside the compound, along the boulevard, We move far along the boulevard to the north and veer suddenly in the jungle to the right. Towards one of these shrines. Which shrine, we're not sure. Two figures emerge from the jungle, heading towards the shrine. Both of them looking similar to Dunala, with partially scaled skin, slitted yellow eyes, carrying scimitars. They climb the steps of the shrine. There, at the top of the steps of the shrine, stands isn't perhaps the correct word. There is a large, vaguely humanoid figure with the upper half of his body still maintaining many serpentine features. A bandage across his face, covering in one eye, the other eye, a gleaming yellow reptilian eye. Pale, slightly scaled skin. The lower half of his body trails for several feet in the tapered form of a Yuan-ti. They mutter something in a hissing language. These two figures. He simply nods at them. He turns his head to the side and says, "Yes, it appears as though you were correct." A figure emerges from the shadow. We see the camera over the shoulder as this figure moves lithely towards this Yuan-ti. She places a hand on his shoulder. The camera swings around and we see as a close-up as she whispers into his ear almost. "I told you, Rosnasi, that these were some remarkable individuals." As the camera pulls away, we see Salida.
Now I gotta kill her again.
And that is where we're going to end tonight's session. I've used those cutscenes very sparingly in this campaign, but I like them to have impact when they hit. So,
it was a sledgehammer impact there.
This was not intended to. Well, you know, I'm not even gonna apologize. It's just the nature of D&D. Sometimes the dice fall where they may, and the characters happen. Things happen the way they happen. And it appears that Eric has flown the coop, and Connor has made a decision in that. Connor, you're the last person that should be shaking your head at my bad jokes.
So, what's really funny was if I was going to get a chance to speak there, I would have said had flown the coop. I was ready. I got a pin in it. I'm like, this is the pun I'm going to use tonight, and you stole it from me. And so that's why I'm angry.
So, while he didn't die, at this point, Eric has left to places unknown. Vale and Dunala and Brilinya have no idea where Eric has gone. So for all intents and purposes, Eric is no longer a part of this party for now. Which means we'll have to see what that means for Connor. In the meantime, check Twitter as I'll be posting looking for player. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I had a lot of fun with this one. I like throwing high-level spells against players just to see Marquise's frustration at it.
Was half expecting Meteor Swarm. Okay, why Why prolong it?
Better hope I never learn a high level spell, or it's over for somebody. I'm giving the work, the smoke, the fade.
Well, you guys have seen through cutscenes. You have seen Rosnacy before, but he was half a continent away from you, and now it appears he might be as little as half a mile away from you, though you don't know that. And it appears that unbeknownst to you, an old ally turned enemy thought to be dead has reappeared. I'm really liking where this campaign is going. We're getting into picture, like a spiral. The spiral is very tight now. Things are moving quickly and tightly. So it's been a little while since we played, so I'm just going to go around, and you guys, if you got any final words on anything that happened tonight or any thoughts, and then we're going to get out of here. Mike.
I had an amazing time because I love this campaign. I really do. It's been great. I don't know what the heck's going on. Is Connor gonna come with a new character? Who can say? Because people usually just wander around the forbidden city of Omu, just waiting for a player to inhabit them. But we'll have to see. I'm really hoping that Eric comes back. Because if not, then it'll be kind of weird trying to play with 3 players, or not 3 players, but 3 characters, and then Connor sitting there judging us. He's judgy. You can find me on Twitter. It's right there in that corner there. Look out for quite possibly in the future at some point a Star Wars campaign on my YouTube channel. It's going to be about a group of fresh rebellion recruits who have to save an entire planet that is in the middle of a great war between the rebels and the Imperials. So we'll see what happens from there, and if as soon as I get all the players together, can start getting some dates going and be good to go.
And you can also see this guy tomorrow night on Monday nights DMing our All That Glitters Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign right here on this channel.
There is that too. I just didn't want to steal your thunder. Maybe Megan wanted to bring it up. I don't know.
Down here, we're going to go to Brilinya, who spent the entire session captured inside a diamond for 6 months.
Yeah, that's fun. That'll do something to a character. Brilinya is someone who's very, near and dear to my heart. Because this is the longest campaign that I've ever been in. So it's awesome, it's amazing, and I can see the threads starting to all come together towards something of a conclusion, which is very, very exciting to be kind of going towards that. And I'm sure there's going to be lots and lots and lots of twists and turns along the way, so I'm super excited to see that as well. And yeah, that was a lot of fun.
And a quick footnote on that, there is a lingering madness effect mechanic that we used. I talked with Megan a little bit about this offline. More, I didn't come right out and say, is this okay? But Megan and I have been playing together for a long time too. But you're kind of getting into some touchy areas, and I want to make sure, that my players are okay with this stuff. But we used, everything is out of the DMG, the Dungeon Master's Guide. So that's, I had her do some rolls to determine the effects. So the mechanical effects are straight out of the Dungeon Master's Guide. And then there's another effect that only Megan knows about. I wanted to kind of portray that the effects of the amnesia in part so that you knew what the heck was going on, but also, just so that everybody kind of gets a sense of, oh, okay, this is going on. But yeah, the other effects that are in place are, I only told Megan, so that informs how she's going to be playing Brilinya going forward. It's fun to play around with those kind of stuff, and it was a unique thing to play with the time shifts and stuff within the confines of what happened, all within the initiative order, and nobody knew I was going to do that either. So that was fun. We're going to go up to Marquise.
So much like our start, kind of have a hit list. Got Brother Matthias on the hit list. Salita was on it, then she was off it, but now she's on it again. So now I'm going to put her down there like 3 times. I'm not sure if you remember, Jake, but when I first killed Salita, I told you I wanted to eat the body, but I had like no opportune chance to eat the body. And now I'm really regretting not eating the body. So next time I kill her, it's cannibal time.
When I was contemplating this plot point, I remembered specifically, because it's one of those scenes that's just cemented in my mind, that when Dunala killed Salita at Camp Vengeance, you left her on her knees, and that's just how she was, and you watched her body recede as you all joined Artis Cimber and co on the airship as you left Camp Vengeance.
But
So
what part is Dunala knows she worked for Raz? What's his name? Raz Nassi, how you say it?
yep, Rosnasi.
She knows she worked for him, and he's like some undead paladin resurrecting dude. So really, I should have seen this coming, but alas, here I am not seeing it coming.
And finally, Connor, Eric.
Well, it was fun. I like it when punches are not pulled, you know, just like these are the consequences for your actions, and you just play with what you get instead of, you know, whining or, you know, being upset about the way the dice roll. Like, no, it's just a fun game. That's kind of a fun aspect to D&D, is like the dice are something that you can't control, and it's something like kind of like this impartial factor to the game. That's really cool. It makes it different from like reading a book or, you know, just being around a table and telling a fun story. And I'm not upset by the departure of Eric. It was a cool moment, and I like how it really amped things up to 10 in like the stress level and like the direness of the situation, right? Like we now have a fire underneath our asses, and that's really cool. So I had a lot of fun. Thanks, Jake, for, you know, making me into a gibbering idiot. And I'm looking forward to the next session, where some new individual will be taking the little title card right here, and maybe even a new image right here. Who knows?
That'll be exciting to see. Just a quick note on the situation, because I like this channel to be very friendly to new DMs, and I've seen in chat before we have people that are new to D&D. Without getting too much into the weeds of the details, Eric deliberately put himself into a situation where he was by himself, going up against 2 characters that he vastly underestimated. He took a shot at one of them, exposing himself, and the other one responded, recognizing the danger with a very powerful spell. And it wasn't it was an instant hit. I mean, and you took low psychic damage from the hit, but you had a chance. I mean, you had a small chance.
2 chances, domain dice too.
But yeah, with that, you had because you spent a domain die. You had a chance to save that and failed it, and so there's the results there. So there were very narrative, actions and consequences that led up to that. It wasn't me as a DM just going, oh, I'm gonna choose the most powerful spell, which it wasn't, and I'm gonna see if I can kill him. So it's just, and I know, again, trusting my players and knowing my players, I know that this is the kind of thing that they can roll with. So I'm excited to be back here in Chult, and we're going to do our best to be here every week, working around schedules. One final thing for the audience and for the players, you are all level 9 now. Just in case you forgot about that. I know Marquise didn't forget about that.
Eric is a better rogue now. Actually, he's going to take a level in Bird. I think that's what he has.
All right, with that, we're going to go ahead and end this game tonight the same way we end every game, and you can say it with me if you want.
Squawk, squawk, squawk.
Lucifer.
Right.